Good morning. Welcome to Let's Get Growing Facebook Live. We're back after a bit of a hiatus. Been to the Perennial Plant Conference in Asheville, North Carolina, and then a couple of weeks taking some really fun gardeners around the gardens of Scotland. So needless to say, the garden hasn't seen much activity as far as maintenance goes for the last few weeks. We're mid-August. We're in the vegetable garden. We're going to have a quick look about a couple of things to do at this time of the year. Usually right now, August, we're thinking about harvest. But really important to remember that when you're harvesting something, there's still loads of time to get more crops grown, start to finish. We get into late August, we're starting to look at nights cooling a little bit, a little bit of dew on the ground every morning, things like that. But we're working into fall, so we're looking at, some of those early crops might be finishing up, and time to plant short-term, quick crops to get going again. So just before we left, actually the day we left, so it's 2 weeks ago today, I sowed a couple of vegetables in a space where we had cleaned some early turnips out of. The turnips were done. They were ripe, ready to be picked. So we had an empty space in the garden, and we had just come back from North Carolina and found a vegetable that we had never grown before. So we found the seed, and we thought we would give it a go. So we had the area empty. We furrowed out a little row, 2 rows actually, for 2 things that we found. The first one that we found is a white beet. So I'm excited about that. Germination was pretty good. You can see our white beets here. They're starting to size up, a good little seedling. Nice thing about a beet, by the end of September, they'll be ready to harvest, if not even before that. So they're still fairly well spaced, so we don't really need to do anything with them yet, although we will thin out some of the seedlings like we would at any other time. You can see there's 2 here that are tight together, so we'll definitely get rid of one of those right away, but they're not bad right now. The other one we got is this row here, and this row here was, I think, our find of the year, as far as vegetables go. It's a turnip, and Laura's going to have to refresh me of the name. Was it Market Express, I think, is the variety?
I think so.
And we found it at a farmer's market, and they sold it to us as a sweet snacking turnip. White turnip, as normal, about the size of a big golf ball, maybe a small baseball, but really what they taste like is like a cross between a turnip and a very mild radish, and they were fantastic. We just sliced them up into salads, ate them raw. You can do anything with them. You can cook with them if you want, but just raw right into a salad, they were fantastic. The other name was that they gave us was a Japanese
snacking
turnip. So that's what we sowed 2 weeks ago today. We sowed them, and now they're in great shape. But we got to do a bit of thinning, of course, just like anything else. So you'll go in and you'll look at seedlings that are maybe not big and strong, some that you've got too close together. And don't worry about thinning. When you get a seed pack and it says you get 500 seeds in there, doesn't mean you're to expect to get 500 vegetables. That would be a little bit ridiculous. You're probably going to get, 50, 60, 70, 80 maybe in that range, depending on what it is. But you want to thin them a little bit so that the bulb in this case develops to a good size. If you leave them really congested, you're going to get all kinds of squished together, skinny, odd, misshapen ones. So you'll want to be aware to leave them a lot of space, just like you would if you were doing this in the spring. The other thing, don't throw out these greens because they are equally as tasty as the vegetables. So you're not wasting anything.
And the farmers who sold us them at the market said that the greens are equally as delicious.
Yeah, with a lot of things like beetroot and stuff like that, the greens are as good as the bulb. So don't throw them out. Cook with them, treat them like a spinach or a Swiss chard, and use them that way. But especially even the thinnings, they don't go to waste because you can eat those too. So think about late crops. You can probably get a short season carrot by sowing now. If you've harvested your garlic and you don't know what to do with the space, you can throw in potatoes, although we're starting to get a little late, but you could get a good crop of autumn, early young potatoes by doing it at this time of the year. Of course, all your salad greens that the summers get too hot for, you should be starting to think about re-sowing now. All your lettuces, you can do kales now and get nice baby kales. A lot of your Asian vegetables, bok choys, for example, can all be done now. And you can harvest September, October, November even, and keep the vegetable garden producing as long as you can. Now, the other thing I'm going to look at, when we sow these, I'm sitting on top of it. When I sowed these, I watered them in well, then I put some garden fleece on top of it. Because I knew we weren't going to be here. I don't want the chipmunks and birds getting in there and stealing the seeds, so I covered with garden fleece. And it actually sat there for the 2 weeks we were gone, came back, uncovered them, there's the seedlings. Garden fleece is a great friend to have a bunch of in the vegetable garden, especially for doing your mid-season seed sowing. So keep some handy. It's inexpensive, it's light and airy, and it just helps protect those seedlings. From critters, but it also shades the soil a little bit and stops it from drying out midday on a hot summer day. So keep your garden fleece handy. The other thing I'm going to mention quickly is that, we've got a little bit of some leaf funguses on our tomatoes and things. We're going to clean that up. Tomatoes are producing, fruit are looking good, but we did get a bit of an onset of, you can see this leaf spot fungus is here. So we're going to I'm not going to touch them now. We're going to clean all those leaves off. And we got lots of good foliage on top, so we should still have some good tomato time there. One thing that did happen was that our yellow bush beans that were producing like crazy basically stopped. The plants don't look too bad. There are a few beans on them, but I suspect that maybe what happened is that they got harvested while the plants were wet, and you should never jump into your bush beans and harvest them with wet foliage because funguses set in very, very easily. And so they've basically packed it in now. So what we are going to do this week is we're going to pull the bush beans out. And you can see here, they don't look terribly bad, but you can see fungus and stuff growing in there. They've actually stopped producing. We got 1 or 2 beans left here, not too much. They're still in good shape, some of those beans, so we can probably get a little bit of a harvest from them. But we're going to empty that row out. See, they're getting a little bit moldy there and stuff, so no good there. Nice thing about this, though, what we did, because we love bush beans, is a few weeks after we planted these yellow ones, right in front of where Laura's standing with the camera, right in front here, we planted purple bush beans, which are just coming into flower. So we just finished up our yellows. Now we're going to have purple bush beans to take the place, and they should take us right into fall. And then what we can do is we can come into this row here where we've done the bush beans, and we can plant salad greens, lettuces probably, for the rest of the autumn. So don't forget, gardening is not ending because it's the middle of August and we're getting closer to that scary back to school time, because we have got at least 3 months left of good vegetable gardening weather. So look at your short-term crops, look at what you want to eat through the fall, think about what you want to have for Thanksgiving, and get it planted now, and you keep your garden producing right through till the end of the season. So, do you have any questions this morning, Laura?
No questions.
No questions this morning? All right, well, I'm going to finish taking these beans out. We're going to have a few little snacks here, and we'll see you next time on Let's Get Growing.